Hi, welcome to my channel, Taro Healing with Vidisha. Like I said in my last Thursday video, we get 3 chances to die in this lifetime. We can avert the first 2 times, but the third time, we've got to go. If you haven't seen my previous video yet, the link is down in the description box. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so that you can get an alert every time I upload. And today I'm going to be talking about the 2 times that I've averted, my 2 chances to die that I have averted. Quick context for this video. I've been told that I was told early on by astrologers, a tantric, that I will die in an accident. Now, if you avert the first 2 times, the MO doesn't change. It's still going to be an accident. I'm 99% sure that through my healing, I have mitigated the pain aspect of my death experience, but it's still going to be an accident. So the first time I nearly died was when I was a teenager. I was in Calcutta on Russell Street, and my father was the one who saved me. So there was a bike coming in really fast, really close to the curb. He was zooming to catch the light, and I didn't even hear him. I remember this very clearly. I have a visual memory of this. I didn't even hear the bike coming behind me. My father yanked me back and saved me. The funny thing is that he and I were in a fight at that time, so it did not strike me that he had just saved my life. I was just, I got even more angry with him because he had handled me roughly, because he had to make a split decision. So it took me years actually to understand that, okay, he had saved my life back then. The second time I almost died was over a decade after that, about 11, 12 years after that, in Bombay. I had just moved from Khar to Versova. For those who don't know, Khar, Versova, they are suburban districts, and they're 1 hour away from each other. And I used to do this illogical thing where I would come home in the evening by train to Bandra. My office was in Fort, which was, it used to take me 1 hour from Khar to reach Fort, to reach my office, but from Versova it would take me 1.5 hours. Commuting from my neighborhood to Andheri station, which was the closest station, was very difficult, very burdensome. There were very few bus routes connecting me and the station directly. There was no metro at that time. Andheri station itself was so chaotic. It's so much bigger than Bandra. It used to be mentally draining for me to go to Andheri station. Coming back was worse, because in the evenings it would be so chaotic. I would never get a seat in the bus. I would find it difficult to even get a rickshaw who would come to my area. So and I was very attached to Bandra still. I'd lived there for 4 years. Khar, Bandra, it's almost the same thing. At least where I was staying, it was pretty much, for all practical purposes, it was Bandra, though my postal address was Khar. So I used to do this where I would come back from Churchgate. I would take a train from Churchgate to Bandra instead of Andheri. And then I would take a rickshaw from Bandra to Versova, my place. Suddenly, a few days into this, suddenly I started feeling unsafe on the roads as soon as I crossed over to Juhu. So there are many ways to get from Bandra to Versova, but I would take the Juhu route. And then right up to my house, from Juhu to my house, I would just feel very, very unsafe. Unsafe in the sense where I would suddenly start noticing Oh, that car's driving very fast. Oh, that guy is driving very recklessly. And I would get this, I started getting this feeling that, oh, I will get hit. This carried on for a few evenings, and of course, I didn't pay attention to it because it's silly. At least it was back then. But then it became very clear to me one evening. It's like this really deep knowing rose up in me that I was going to get into an accident. And certain realizations about this main realization dawned on me, and it was like I knew it. Like I knew it was going to happen. So these are the things that dawned on me. One is that I'm definitely getting into an accident, and it's going to be a very big accident. It is part of my karma. I cannot avoid it. I should not try to avoid it. My bones would be shattered. There were certain details of the effect, the impact that came to me. This is what I remember, that my bones would be completely shattered. I would be literally broken. Fragments of bone would be inside my skin. There would be a huge financial drain because of the hospital expenditures. And it was going to happen after dark. I would never feel like this if I was in a taxi in town. If I was in a rickshaw during the day, I would feel this only in the evenings. Looking back, yeah, it was probably an indication of the time, but it didn't strike me then. I just knew this. So I thought, okay, fine, let me do what I can do to help myself, to protect myself. And after that, if it doesn't work, then what choice do I have? I have to accept it. I thought of gritting my teeth and switching to buses, but it's not practical. I will never be able to sustain public travel only on a bus or only through train. I will have to get into a rickshaw, and the minute I would, it would happen. I started sitting in the middle of the rickshaw seat, practicing bracing myself depending on where the impact might come from. I thought of buying sports protective gear, helmets, elbow pads, knee pads to protect myself, but then it was so impractical. It would become so cumbersome. I dropped the idea, but I would sit and imagine that I was wearing all of it. I had no understanding of manifestation and blocks and all that back then, but I used to sit and I was like, okay, this is the most I can do. I can't buy it and wear it every day, but I can pretend I've got it on. So that's what I was doing. And this went on for a few days, maybe a week. Until late one evening, a friend and I, we made a plan to go to Bandra. She stayed in Juhu. So I would go from my house, pick her up in Juhu, and then we would go to Bandra. I thought it's fine. I'll just make up some excuse if she finds it strange that I'm sitting in the middle of the seat instead of letting her be comfortable. The problem is that the minute I reached her place, I called her, she came down. She didn't come down alone. She came down with another friend of ours who decided to join us. And I just found myself unceremoniously shoved to one side of the rickshaw. The minute I was shoved, and I was literally like this against the side of the rickshaw. Then it really, really dawned on me. It really struck me. It came up in me that, okay, it's going to happen now. So, and it was so, I could have made some excuse and made them switch seats so I would be sitting in the middle, but it was so, what shall I say, it was so clear and so absolute, this knowing that, yeah, it's going to happen in the next 20 minutes. That's how long it will take for us to reach the cafe. I just accepted. I was like, okay, fine, it's going to happen now. Fine. Now, obviously, it didn't happen. We all know that already. It almost happened. It was really like I got saved by a hair's breadth. If I had been aware of all this when I was a teenager, back then also, the first time also, yeah, I got saved by a hair's breadth. Uh, this time, the rickshaw driver, he saved us. We were going up a slope in Bandra. We reached Bandra. We were going up a slope and we were going to take a left. And this road, this entire road, it was a narrow 2-lane road. That lane going towards Juhu was completely jammed. And just as our lane was completely empty. So just as we were going up the slope and taking the left, one huge SUV decided to be very impatient, very frustrated, swerve out of their cramped space in that long jam-packed line of cars and use our free lane to go ahead. And the timing of it, the size of that car, it was, there was no thought in my head. My friend and I, we just screamed. And we got saved because the rickshaw driver had presence of mind and swerved just the right amount at the right moment. And the funny thing is that our third friend had no idea what had happened. The near accident didn't touch her at all. My friend and I screamed, and the third friend went like, why? What happened? Maybe she was high on something. And it took us another 5 to 7 minutes to reach our cafe, but in that 5 to 7 minutes, not only had my friend and I calmed down, but I lost the sense of, an accident is going to happen. So, it's somehow it passed by me, even that second time. Till date, I think of that rickshaw driver and I go like, okay, thank you. But I also feel like there were other things, the third friend's energy coming in suddenly, me accepting it and not trying to fight it. So that's how the second accident also got averted. And there was no logical connection between this near accident and what happened after that in my life. But I did take steps that ended up creating huge changes in my life. Shortly after that, within a couple of months, or maybe, I don't know, few months after that, I left Bombay. I shifted back to Calcutta. Logically, from the physical, tangible point of view, I had gone to write my novel, but actually what I had gone to do was start healing myself. The years that I've spent healing myself they have led me to this point where I'm healing others. And no one would really, it's like when we say near-death experience, we talk about clinical near-death experiences. But that was like a near-death experience in a very stark, obvious, in-my-face kind of a way. And life has taken a complete 180 since then. It's taken time, but it has. And yeah, it's like this is my second life, so to speak, that I'm living right now. And yeah, things can change like that. Certain things happen in our lives that completely change us, and we don't always realize that it's happening until it has happened. A substantial chunk of time has passed by, and we look back and we see, oh yeah, that did change something. I still don't know logically what the connection was between that second near-death experience and my life changing completely. but that's what happened one after another. And yeah, these are my two near death experiences, my two shots. The third time I will probably be gone, and I'm not too worked up over it or upset about it or anything like that. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Sunday. That's it for today. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm still figuring some things out about this channel, and I'm sure I'll get there. Hit like if you like this. Bye.